All right, guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to visualize stock trends using graphs, as well as identify percent-wise where the bottom of any stock price is so that you could buy the dip and make some money, hopefully. All right. So it's going to be two in one. So it's pretty cool with that. All right. So first, what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to import Y Finance, Yahoo Finance as YF. And next, we need to get, sorry, in the last video I showed you, we're going to need to use matplotlib. But if you are using Jupyter Notebook, you can use an IPython magic function to import matplotlib. If you're not, it's okay. You don't need to. You can just import matplotlib the same way, the regular way, which you can figure out here in the documentation. But I'm just going to use the magic formula for Jupyter Notebook. So matplotlib in line. All right, just run that, make sure it's good. Great. All right, now we're going to get some data. So I'm going to first label the start and end function. So the start date is going to be, I'm going to do 2019. And the end is going to be, do the first of November. So, and let's make a comment so we know when we go back. Okay, cool, let's run that. Now let's get some stock data. So what I'm going to use is GameStop. So first, let me just make sure, okay, the ticker is GME. So yeah, that is correct. And let's make sure the start is the start date that we used, and the end is the end date that we use, that we actually created these variables for here. Let's run this. All right, it is running good. So now if we want to see what it pulls up, so here is the open, high, low, close, average, close, and volume for all of the dates within the start and end date that we identified here for GameStop. All right, now let's apply Z-score. Z-score is a way of figuring out how many standard deviations away from the average price a stock price actually is. So this is where we're going to kind of get into statistics a little bit. If you're interested in learning more about statistics as well, I'm going to open up a data science section within Algorel, so check that out. Now, data science is a very huge component of algo trading and quantitative analysis. So you're going to need to like master that. So if you want to learn how to master that, Algorel, we got you. So let's just create a Z-score function so that we can actually explain. So I'll explain it as I'm building it right now. So we're going to return, sorry, I didn't actually call it right. I'm going to return the chunk, the last chunk. So if you know about indexing, this is the last chunk within the data frame. Chunk dot mean. So this is the mean of the actual data, meaning the average of the actual data. And we're going to divide this by the standard deviation of the data. All right. And that looks good to me. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, looks good to me. So we run that. We're good. Now let's create a rolling statistics. Now, if you don't know what rolling statistics is, most of your indicators that you use, the technical indicators you use, utilize rolling statistics. One of them being the simple moving average. The exponential moving average actually use it too. So whenever you put a certain amount of periods, like a certain amount of days, so you use like a 20-day simple moving average, that's 20 days of rolling data. So that's rolling statistics. So now we're going to actually use that here too. Okay, so we're going to do rolled equals data dot close. So this is the close values dot rolling, and we're going to set the window. So again, for the the simple moving average, the 20-day moving average, we would use a window of 20. This one, we're using a window of 30, so 30 days for the month, all right? And then we're going to, here's a cool way that you can apply functions to other variables or anything else that you're working with. Instead of just like calling the variable and then adding your data to it, you can use the apply method and just put the actual function name. Z-score. I just spelled that super wrong. Okay, cool. All right, we can, if you want to check it out, let's see what it produces. Boom. So there's some there's a NaN values. We would typically get rid of them, but for the sake of this video, we don't got time to clean up all this data. So we're just going to make sure that it just doesn't, it's not applied to what we're doing here. So cut this out. Cool. Now we're going to use Matplotlib to actually visualize this. Tap plot. Do roll the plot. Let's run that. Boom. So as you can see, this is showing based on the closed values, the Z-score of all of the values. Again, it's going to be removed, like the amount of removed from the standard deviation or the mean that we're actually going to be seeing for each closed value. So don't worry about that. I'm going to show you another histogram that's going to actually clear it up for you, because I like the histogram version as opposed to the line chart version. So you're going to be able to kind of like understand it a lot better once we get here. So put bins. So this is going to be the histogram that we're going to use here, also within Matplotlib. Boom. All right. This is a way better visualization for it. I did this just so you can kind of see it in the line chart format, but this one kind of tells you a better story. Now, as you can see, we typically have a big chunk all together. And this allows you to know, like, typically where the data is going to, basically be around when it comes to the mean. Now, when you see a split, that means that there was a significant event that caused it to deviate from the mean. And it actually dropped negative four points or so. So, and I'm assuming, we're going to figure this out, but I'm assuming that this has to do with the GameStop short squeeze back in 2021. So basically, that was when the stock price for GameStop went parabolic. It went higher than it ever actually did, and that was a huge move away from its average price, which is why you would probably see something like this, a gap in between the mean, and have something like this. And it also fell very large as well too. So this definitely most likely had to do with the short squeeze. So this is pretty cool that you can actually visualize, the actual price and see like where things might have gone good or wrong due to external forces like the short squeeze, right? All right, so now we're going to get into visualizing the bottom or visualizing the percent, the lowest percent gain and percent shortage based on volume, all right? So we're going to do the min percent change. And this is going to be, so stay with me. This is going to be a lot in one. Let me go back here. Getting call. Cool. Sorry, I had to just do that real quick, like you know. So we're going to do the close values. We're going to do the percent change for those close values. Stay with me. It's going to be a lot. We're going to do a rolling window as well. And this is going to be for a month, just like we did before. And we want the minimum values, the minimum percent change for 30 days. All right. Let's run that. And let me see what that data pulls up. Boom. So you can see about negative 8%, negative 8%. Now don't worry about that. We're going to actually visualize this now. So it's better whenever you see it on a chart. Let's plot this real quick. And boom. So here's what you need to know from this. One large percent loss here, around below negative 3% for the day, for the close, sorry. And then there was an even bigger one down here, negative 50%. Jesus Christ. And again, you see the date, it's around the 1st of 2021, which is January. And that was when the short squeeze happened. So again, this helps you first see where these large percent gains, these large percent losses and gains actually came from. And it kind of just verifies this information that we saw here. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to actually see the average. We're going to see the average percent change. So that's going to help us kind of like predict where, the bottom for most of the stock prices are for this specific stock. So it's going to help you with, your trading decisions. We're going to do this. And of course, we're going to use a histogram as well. I can see there's negative 60%. Remember, we saw it right here. Negative 40%, negative 30%. So you know that, again, since these are together, this is a beautiful thing about a histogram. You know that it's going to be around here. So I would actually trade within, like if I see it drop 20%, between 10 and 20%, that's what I know is probably close to the bottom. All right. So that is basically how you do that. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. If you want the code, it's going to be on Algo World. If you want to learn more about this as well as learn more about data science, I'm going to be teaching this in Algo World as well. I'll have all links to this in the description below. Go back over it, practice it, and learn more. See you guys in the next video.